Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Monday edition of the show here on Orange Bloods Live. So pumped we're pumped to be here with you guys. Look, it's still a victory Monday. Texas still technically coming off a victory, but we are into game week. We have Florida, and Cody, it feels like we have some hijinks from Billy Napier, who had his press conference much like Steve Sarkisian today. We'll talk about both of these, maybe kind of get into what Napier said a little bit more tomorrow, but kind of making a whole lot of news with what he said about quarterback DJ Lagway, who is from Willis, Texas, and who was a real spark for that football team that was carted off the field with an apparent hamstring or with a hamstring injury last week versus Georgia in the whatever the cocktail party game. So we're going to talk about that, what that means for Texas in this upcoming matchup. Talk about what Sark said, and also you have the new Behind Enemy Lines column with some intel from some of these other teams. So, I mean, I think that we put it on the thumbnail just talking about Lagway. And so Billy Napier today, the quote was, so whenever he started out, he said, "We've had positive information on that front. We do think the injury is less significant. And there's a pathway for recovery and to return. We've not completely ruled him out. A lot of that will be to be determined as we move through the week. So that's good for everyone all around, and certainly DJ." And so, you know, he just kind of stopped there. And one of the reporters was like, "Hold on, wait. Just to clarify, are you saying that he might be back this week?" And he said, we're going to see how that goes. The position that he plays makes that possible. It's going to be a pretty clear cut thing once we get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll know. And then, so the report, clearly the reporters kind of, they follow up. They're just like, well, what about the card coming out? What about, like, you know, usually that means, you know, the season's over, and he said, you just never know. Soft tissue is a very subjective injury. And this one proved to be that. You have to get the MRI, and that's what we did. And we got positive news on that front. So we'll see. So I don't know. What do you think? Is this total gamesmanship? Do you think that Lagway can play? Because here's the thing. I want to talk about Florida and what I saw. I went and watched them today. I went and watched back the Georgia game, and I have some thoughts about the defense and how Texas can attack them. But I also watched, you know, I didn't watch much of Lagway because I've seen Lagway. What are your thoughts on Lagway just in general before we get into this whole discussion?
I love Lagway. When the Billy thing started going this way and it looked like he was going to get canned, my first instinct was, and that was kind of like right at the same time that Portnoy said he was going to pay somebody $3 million to play quarterback for Michigan. I was like, man, this kid, like, he's going to be the hottest commodity this offseason to go somewhere but Florida.
Whenever Napier gets fired.
I think he's an elite thrower downfield for his age. I think he's athletic enough. I think that's part of his game. He's obviously very, very young in this whole process, so it's kind of hard to analyze him on that front. But I do think as far as what he brings to the table right now at his age, I think it's very impressive. And him being as high-ranked recruit as he was this past year, it's 100%. You can already see those things flashing in the game.
What was his star ranking? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think he was a 5-star. Wasn't he I think he was number 1 or number 2 on Rivals.
I'll look it up on Rivals.
I think he was 5-star, dual threat. I think he was number 1 or 2.
2024 dual threat. Yeah, 28 nationally, number 7 player in the state, number 1 at dual threat quarterback. Yeah. Gosh. I mean, he looked there have been times that he's looked like it this year, Cody. I mean, yeah. Whenever you get in there and you see him, it was the first time I'd sat down and just focused on a Florida game, you know, when I was watching this game this weekend before we had to go on radio. And I was texting him like, dude, Lagway just throwing dots, man. Like, you know, they were in that game. They maybe could have won that game if he stays healthy. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I think he's the guy that came in after him, Warner. Like, the drop off from him to Whenever I think about like a third string quarterback coming in, I think about it through the eyes of like how would it be for Texas if they had to put in like a Trey Owens or something, God forbid. And this guy's not even Trey Owens level. He's just he can't operate the offense, dude.
Dude, you know what's funny? You bring up Trey Owens is that I was over there doing some digging on Florida on my column, and I'll just segue this topic and bring up this one thing because I talked about Florida in here. The spread was a thing that got brought up on their board, and it's 21.5. And so one of the guys on the board said, this was, I said, this was asked on the Florida board. So I want to ask it here in quotes. This is the quote. Let me ask you, if Trey Owens was starting for Texas and we had Lagway available, what would the spread be?
Huh.
It's 21.5 right now. And I think that's under the assumption of the Warner kid playing and obviously Quinn. I think that he's trying to say the roles are reversed. Like, imagine we had our starter. I don't know why he classified it as that way instead of saying like maybe Mertz, but
well, Lagway's better than Mertz.
Yeah,
but
well,
that's
yeah,
the thing. Napier stinks, dude. Like,
how should have been starting from the jump? But it's hard to. We had this conversation already once, but you can't. It's like playing. It would have been like playing Arch last year over Quinn this year.
What? Arch
That's what playing Lagway over Mertz is like. It's like playing Arch from last year. Arch is a freshman over Quinn right now.
I mean, dude, I'm not like I'm under no delusions that Quinn is some kind of Heisman Trophy winning quarterback or anything like that. But Quinn's better than Mertz.
I understand that, but I'm talking about the age perspective of things and the pedigree. Like Mertz has an equal pedigree as Quinn does. He played in the Big Ten for a couple of years. He transferred down as a high end recruit in the transfer portal. He's not good, but he's not grimy dog water.
No, he's not. Well, yeah, he's not grimy dog water. He's not. But Lagway could be elite, man.
Yeah,
like he's got a whole lot of just real skill. And when I saw him go down and grab for his hamstring, at first I was like, oh man, be a cramp. But yeah. I wanted to see the kid play. You know what I mean? Like when they bring the card out, you're just like, well, all right. So, at least Texas didn't have to face this guy. And then all of a sudden, I think the Florida, I'm going to talk about the defense here in a second. And I think Florida I think they probably have some guys that could be, I don't know how they're thought of in NFL draft circles. Maybe you could tell me because, I know that you get into that a little bit before I do. And we start our travel process for the NFL draft. But
speaking of which, we need to book our stuff soon.
Is it already? It's already getting to that time, huh?
It's already November, dude.
Yeah. Gosh, man. Do you want to have that conversation with Byron? Asking him for money in November for this stuff. Gosh. No, but anyway, I'll talk about the defense in a second, but just about the Florida defense in a second, but just about Lagway. How could you? Florida's 4-4.
Yeah.
In the upcoming weeks, you have, I don't know what their schedule. I looked at their schedule earlier. I think that after Texas, they got like LSU, and then they got Ole Miss, or was it Ole Miss? I should have pulled this up. But it's not super easy, right? And we know from just our time covering NFL stuff and covering college and all the rest, but specifically from just, we have a national fantasy football show, and we have a huge fantasy football website, and so we have to know about return to play sort of general themes, right? So let's parse out what was said by Napier today. He did mention that that it was a position specific thing, right? To where it's different. It's clearly going to be different for a quarterback coming back off of this injury than it would be for, say, a wide receiver that's got to get in and out of his cuts and, burst out of his stems and do these kinds of things, right? It's got to be a lot different from like a read and react corner. It's got to be a lot different, like from basically a whole lot of other positions, right? But so much of what Lagway does, and this isn't even like the main point, but still, so much of what Lagway does is like being able to move around, being able to operate off platform. He's really good at that stuff, man. And it's not so much what he does with his legs as just a runner, which is good too, right? That's really good. But he's one of these guys that has that pocket mobility that you just say, like, gosh, man, he finds these really good spots to get off platform and find dudes. He's like a natural. You like, it hinders him to some degree, even if he was healthy and ready to go, and you weren't putting the guy at any risk by sticking him out there against, edge guys like Colin Simmons and Baron Sorrell and the rest, Anthony Hill. So that degrades him to some degree. Now, does it degrade him in this fantasy world that he's actually going to play? Does it degrade him to the same degree as this kid? What's the kid's name behind him? I already forgot it. Warner. He came from like Yale or something, right?
Or Aiden Warner.
Yeah. And he is straight up no good. I mean, no good. No chance with this guy. So I think Lagway's better than that guy. But if the bigger point is, dude, you're 4-4. You got LSU and Ole Miss coming up. The return to play stuff for even if it was good news from the MRI, I'm sure what that means is they came back to coach and said, "Hey, coach, this is a grade 1 hamstring strain."
Yeah,
that's what he means, because we know that grade 2 you're going to be out six weeks. Like that's just true. You're going to be out 6 weeks. It's a Mike Evans from the other night. You know what I mean? All right, he's shut down until at least the bye week, and like, if it's a grade 1, we've seen this stuff, and guys don't come back after 1 week. Cody, we've seen sometimes after 2, but usually it's 3. And I was just doing some searching on Twitter just to find like some, all these Twitter doctors that think they know everything, and some of them do, man. Like some of these guys are MDs and everything, and so I just typed in hamstring, return to play, average, grade, right? This is stuff like maybe somebody says like the average return to play for blah, blah. And I found a guy that was actually talking about Lagway today, and it's one of these Twitter docs, and he says, no way he's 100% healthy, regardless of what time of severity his hamstring strain is. So I guess, so I agree, you have to keep him out. So I agree, keep him out against Texas. Recovery timelines: grade 1, minor strain, 2 to 3 weeks. Grade 2, moderate strain, 4 to 6 weeks. Best case, return for LSU. Most realistic case, return for FSU. And I believe FSU is their final game of the season.
Yeah.
So I think if Billy Napier does this thing where he pushes Lagway back this week, not only is his ability to do what he does and what makes him special going to be impaired, but he's going to put the kid at risk.
Yep.
He would be coming back too early, and it's very clear that it's a play. It's a play just to save his job, to try and just do anything he can to grasp at straws to save his job, because I feel like Napier's probably getting fired. I don't know if that's the general kind of view, but I feel like he might have a better chance of not getting fired if he does the right thing, sits him out, brings him back, win your final 3 games with Lagway, have something to point to, and say, well, at least I didn't rush him back versus Texas, get him hurt again, and now the whole season I'm stuck with Warner, and this whole thing goes to smithereens, and I'm fired, maybe the night after that FSU game.
I do think it's a sticky spot. I do think part of him potentially saying, we're not ruling him out, is him seeing that quarterback throw for 33% against Georgia.
Was it even that good?
I think it was like 31 or 33%. It was horrid with a pick. And that game goes from 2020. Like, Florida's got a respectable defense. You're going to talk about it here in a minute. They got like a good defense with length, with size. I just think that this offense is a complete zero with this kid at quarterback. And they're dealing with injuries all over, really. A lot of their talented players like Elijah Badger and Montrell Johnson have been banged up all year. their running back, their starting running back and starting receiver have been hurt all year. Feels like so. This kid's not good though. Like I think that's what the point is if he's not ruling it out because he's saying this kid's, 230 pounds. He's young. He's a good athlete. Let's say hypothetically by Friday, he feels good enough to move around the pocket. And 100% without a doubt, I don't think there's a possible way that you're getting full-fledged Lagway, like being able to move on the run and stuff. It's going to be full-blown pocket Lagway, which I think is still a good quarterback and still an upgrade over this Warner kid. So, and I think we've seen the quarterback is one position that, yes, it'd be ideal to have a guy that can get out of the pocket, but we've seen guys win just being stationary. I mean, let's just look at a healthy Kirk Cousins every damn week. It's like the guy doesn't know how to evade that, right? Like it's some guys just don't have pocket. But if Lagway, if they think that Lagway has good enough pocket presence with the injury, I don't see. I would do it. If he could move around the pocket and I had good enough protection, I think I would do it if I was Billy. But
what about the? I mean, Lagway's gonna be a star, man. You're gonna. I mean,
she got a torn hamstring. What happens if it tears more? Nothing.
You would do it to him?
No, I would say if he's progressed enough by like Friday or Thursday or Friday that.
Well, how do you practice this week? Like you got to put together a practice schedule. Like, is he practicing or like he was just carted off the field? He's got to practice.
Does he? Does he got to practice to be better than this kid?
Well, I mean, it's just how. But dude, coach, how do you run the week? You're the as the coach, you're the
You have him out there.
Quarterback's the CEO of the on-field product, but you're the CEO's boss, man. Like you gotta run a week. How are you gonna run the week of practice?
You have him out there every day, and he's out there taking all the mental reps. He's standing right in the quarterback spot. The Warner kid might be taking some snaps. They might try to put Lagway in there for a couple snaps to see how it feels. He's obviously a no-touch player. I don't know. We're not there. We didn't see what the MRI looked like. We aren't in the, I'm just
clearly the MRI was good.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like if he's out there, obviously he didn't practice today. Let's say tomorrow he walks out there, he's moving around, and Wednesday he's like, I've been in the ice tub the last couple of days. I've been keeping this thing tight. If I tape it up, I feel like I'm mobile enough. Let's say on Wednesday he gets in half or maybe like 30% of the first team reps. Thursday, he's feeling more mobile. Friday, they can make that decision. Or maybe they don't make that decision until Saturday when they're on the field, which is probably most likely. And he wakes up at 8:30 in the morning. He feels good. He goes to DKR. He's moving around in the pocket, moving around. And then at 9:30 or 10 o'clock or whatever time it is, we get an announcement of Lagway's going to start. Pete Thamel comes over. Lagway's going to start. He says it on whatever the hell. What's the show on College Game Day? College Game Day comes up. Lagway's going to start today. Shocking news. We thought he tore his leg in half last week. He's playing today. That's the Pete Thamel report on Saturday. I don't know. Again, we can only hypothesize right here because we don't know what the MRI is. We don't know. All we know is that other kid's not good.
People at DKR will know as soon as Thamel.
Bingo.
He's out there running around. He's probably going to play.
Yep.
But you said tape it up. You don't tape up a hamstring, do you?
You can tape a hamstring up. How do you think you keep the thing intact?
What? What do you tape it with?
Huh?
You just tape it with the same stuff you tape your ankles and stuff with?
Yeah, you put your compression shorts on. You tape over your compression shorts, and you like a pot roast, right, or a ham roast, right?
Well, you do it on each side, what are you talking about? Like just all the way around from
like this, yeah,
from the knee up.
Yeah, in X's and then around, and you just tape it up and make sure he can still move with it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm speaking from experience. So
yeah, I don't know, man. And then for Texas, it poses the issue of just what do you do as far. I guess this week you prepare for Lagway.
You prepare for Lagway, I would say 75%, and the other kid, I mean, they're probably gonna do 50-50, but I would prepare for Lagway 75%, and the other kid like barely any, because he's so bad, and it's probably there's not a lot of tape obviously to watch on the kid, but I think you prepare for the better player.
Well, Sark says you just prepare for the scheme.
That
It's just like
it's different offense.
It's like
everyone says that.
Prepare for the scheme. It's like, come on, dude. It's like
there's no scheme if the other kid's playing.
They don't have an offense.
Yeah.
Right. They do have a defense. And let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about what Sark said, because dude, Sark did say that they definitely have some beef on that defensive side of the football. That number 21, that nose tackle, he would love to take a trip to Texas Beef Traders whenever he's in town. I mean, we're talking the best. We're talking the best that there is. I'm so tilted right now because I've been so happy all day that I was going to have one of my Dunlap Delmonico steaks for dinner. I was going to grill it out right after the show, but I can't be too sad because it looks like we might get some thunderstorms coming through here in the Hill Country. And it's been like 4 months since we've had any rain, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. I think I could probably still cook some like kebab style stuff. Maybe can I cook that on a cast iron skillet, Cody? I've never really done that with steak.
Do you have a deep one, or do you have a thin cast iron?
No, dude, I have one that belonged to my wife's grandfather. It's like super old,
deep and tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a little tougher unless you have shorter kebabs, but you can still get something. You can still, concoct something up.
Straight from Mason, Texas, with the Angus beef, just so delicious. No mRNA vaccines, no antibiotics, no weird shots, nothing else like that. Oh, and you can get the beef jerky too. The football with friends, branded beef jerky. We ought to just get this up for a little while, Cody, and let it sit. How do I move it to the other one?
Like I got you.
Yeah, just do it like that, man. You guys can scan that QR code. Cody, do you still have that link as far as where we can we put the link in the chat to get the beef jerky?
Yeah, I got you.
It really is so good, man. I want to make sure that people can order it. It's delicious. Thanks to everybody who's ordered so far. Helps us out. It helps out Texas Beef Traders, and it really is awesome beef jerky. So tasty as hell. Football with friends beef jerky from our people at Texas Beef Traders. Yes, Scott in Texas. Yes, it can mail order. It can mail order now. All 48 states. All 48 states.
How many bags of jerky? Here's a test for you. How many bags of jerky do you think number 21 Desmond Watson, 6'5", 449 pounds? How many bags of jerky do you think he consumes on a flight from Gainesville to Austin?
Could he consume?
How many could he consume?
I mean, it's a pretty decent amount of jerky in these bags. I say he could eat 8 of them. Gosh. Here's the thing about number 21, man. He can't move.
He's a stump.
Yeah, he's not even really that much of a stump. I think what he's not there. I don't think having him on the field gets their best players on the field. Is he somebody that draftniks like? No. Okay. Because he's a novelty. He's not very good. He cannot move. I don't think Texas is going to have that much trouble with him, especially given the fact that, if he's going to be on DJ Campbell, that's kind of like, he's the kind of DJ Campbell's going to be able to move him. He's going to be able to out leverage him, and he's going to be able to get him, not necessarily get him off the ball, but just get him away from the play. I think Texas might have more success running outside zone this week versus that front that includes him than they traditionally have, because he's just not a penetrator. He's just kind of a stand there kind of guy. And that's even despite me saying for the last couple of weeks that I think that Texas has looked a little bit better and they found some stuff with that man power counter sort of gap stuff. I kind of think that the outside zone stuff specifically, where they can just kind of have, Campbell just kind of throw a shoulder on the inside of this dude and kind of take his lazy butt out of the play. I really do think that it's not going to be something where he's going to be able to penetrate up through his play side shoulder and mess things up. So I'm not worried about 21 at all. The two that I do worry about a little bit are number 34 and number 94. They're both
Tyreek Sapp.
Yeah, they both kind of play edge, and they'll move into like 3-tech sometimes, but they'll generally, when they move to 3-tech or 4-eye, they'll play that what's that game out there? Is that a TED game? The tackle end game? Yeah, like a TED game to the outside where they'll stunt. But 94 I think has a better bull rush. And I don't think that Kelvin Banks can be a catcher with him. There have been some of these games where he's kind of gotten back and he's gotten a little bit farther back into his kick slide and gotten set to a little bit far enough depth to where sometimes if somebody will bull rush him, they'll just get him like if they can get just the right angle on him at the bull rush that's a little bit more acute than Kelvin would like. He's getting a little bit close to Quinn. And it freaks Quinn out a little bit and makes him step up in the pocket and his eyes get down and all the rest. I think 34 is more of your speed rush guy. I think 94 is more of the guy that you can't allow it to happen to. What is his name? Did you say Spears?
No. 94?
Yeah.
Tyreek Sapp.
Sapp. Oh, he's got a great name.
Yeah.
But the Georgia left tackle was constantly getting pushed back into back and giving him trouble, despite not a lot of pressures in the game, like not a lot of true pressures in the game out of that guy, but a lot of ways that you could tell that he was sort of affecting Beck. By the way, can we just talk about Carson Beck, man? He's not really that good, dude. Is he?
Nope.
He just isn't that good. I'm sorry, man. It's like, and if he turns out to be a good pro, that's fine. But I think you could have said it about I think you could have said it going back to say in college, say I know you liked Will Levis, but you could have said, man, that guy's just not good. They're just time but Levis could still turn out to be a good pro. Beck could still turn out. They have tools, but they're not good. He's not good now.
You could objectively say, and I know I'm not bringing favoritism into this. You could objectively say Levis looked better his last year in college at Kentucky than Beck has looked so far this year. And Beck has had halves where he's looked good, but as far as the tools go, as far as the arm goes, as far as the intangibles go and the athleticism goes, I would still take Levis over Beck right now. A year ago, or not a year ago, 6 months ago, when Beck was thinking about going to the draft, I was like, man, this kid's probably going to be good. No, he probably the 5th or 6th quarterback off the board here. And that was back when we thought Quinn was also going to go. I think Quinn and Beck would have been competing for that next guy off the board after Bo and Penix, regardless. But he's, I think the best way I heard it today, I was listening to, I was in the sauna today. I was listening to Todd McShay, and he said, the best way to explain Carson Beck, and he basically said the same thing. He's basically this kid is, he's now in consideration for McShay as the 6th quarterback in this class.
Yeah.
He's remember at the beginning of the year, you probably remember this maybe you don't. I don't know if you watch Game Day or not, but on Game Day, Pete Thamel came on and he goes, all right, we polled X amount of scouts and people in the front office. And here's what it looks like. It was Beck for QB1. And then it was Shadur. And then it was
Milroe and Ewers.
Milroe, Cam, and Ewers, right?
Yep.
Ewers had 1 vote. And he goes, today, you could put Nussmeier in that bunch.
Yes.
You could still put Quinn, probably Quinn/Beck at that QB 5-6 area. And we still don't know if Nussmeier is going to come out. We still don't know if Milroe is going to come out. But it's really
needs to come out this year.
That Beck is now kind of number 5-6 in that conversation. What's he had 8 picks in the last 4 games? It's not good. And he basically, the best way he explained it was he doesn't have his security blanket in Brock Bowers, and he doesn't have the dependable piece in Lad McConkey, and you're seeing him fail because he's scared and doesn't trust his current weapons, which I thought was odd because, I respect Dylan Bill. I think Dominic Levette's a respectable player. I think Lawson Lucky's solid. Oscar Delp is solid. I don't think they're bad. He's also got a decent run game with Etienne and Frazier. Etienne hasn't been healthy, but I just think it's interesting that when McShay said that, it kind of rung in my head. I was like, look at Ladd. What we saw. Ladd's. I saw his pro. He's just a sicko of a route runner, and obviously Brock Bowers is on pace right now to break rookie records in receiving. It makes sense that the regression might have came in for Beck.
Gosh, it's good to have McShay back on the scene, huh?
Oh, it's great.
Where can I listen to his new pod? What is
it called? It's only got 3,000 subs on YouTube. It's called the McShay Show.
Okay, cool, man. Does he put it out on podcast form?
It goes out 3 times a week. I'm not sure if it's on pod or not. You could probably just find it McShay Show. Just type in McShay. It's 3 times a week though.
Good to have him back. We have some. Let's see. Scott in Texas. He's asking about the beef jerky. He's saying, "Is the jalapeno really hot or mainly flavor?" It's mainly flavor. It's not. My son kind of thinks that the Cowboy blend is even maybe a little bit hotter, just because it has like the cracked kind of ground pepper on it. It's just traditional, but no, the jalapeno is not really hot. And then the other question was, is there an FWF promo code or just ordering? No, it's just no. Well, no, this is Football with Friends beef jerky. So it's like we made it and we help like with the flavor profiles and stuff like that with Darren up there. So we get a cut of the sales. And so like anytime anybody buys it, it helps us out and makes us not look dumb for having the idea to do this stuff. But we're also going to have our new seasoning and spice coming out that we're going to have go big here on the show and get into Academy and Walmart and everything else like that, and just go retire somewhere in Panama. Panama?
I won't go to Panama. I'll go to Aruba.
Yeah, Aruba, something like that, right? Maybe El Salvador these days. They say it's like the safest place in the world, and they have beautiful beaches. Okay, I think they have beautiful beaches. That could be Costa Rica. I'm thinking of. The other thing about their defense, I think 99 is the guy who could give the interior the most trouble based on the UGA game. Much more so than 21. People will worry about 21 because he's so big. And I don't know if you know anything about 99. I didn't look up his name or anything, but he is the interior guy who can, at least what I saw, who can really defeat blocks and make plays, especially against zone runs. So what I said about the zone stuff versus number 21, I would
Damn,
I wouldn't. What he's big, but he's
6'6", 342.
That's the thing. He's really long.
He's like borderline really, sweat.
Yeah, really long. He doesn't look 340. I figured he was probably at 325 or something. But
I did this is kind of a sideways thing into this weight. I just figured I'd wedge it in here. I filled in for Anwar on the Sunday Pulpit back in August, and I went through each team. I called it the Battle of the Trenches, each team in the SEC, and I accounted for the projected starters and their tonnage. So the offensive line across the board, tonnage, defensive line across the board, their tonnage. And Florida came in third overall in offensive line, averaging 326 pounds apiece. And defensive line obviously kind of skewed a little bit with Watson, but 304.3 pounds, which is second, just 0.2 pounds behind Auburn. But on offensive line, they were 326, which is 7 pounds behind Vandy and Ole Miss for third. And so combined, they had the highest total tonnage, average defensive line and offensive line weight entering the season, did Florida.
You could tell they're big, and that was the kind of not the final thing. I'll talk about that in 1 second, but I think that as far as the stuff with running zone against them, the main problem with outside zone against those guys when you saw Georgia run it was their linebackers actually do a really good job of like filling and spilling and just occupying rush lanes too. And I think that has something to do with those super big dudes in the middle. Like I said, not necessarily being world beaters on their own, but at least kind of. I mean, look, man, if a guy weighs 400 pounds, I mean, he's going to occupy you. You know what I mean? You're not going to. You know what I'm saying? You're not just going to blow off of this guy and go get some kind of two-bagger with the linebacker too. Mm-hmm. Like we've seen, like it's not going to happen. So their defense to me looks good. It looks sturdy. They look good on the back end. They have one corner they have one good corner. They can do some things to, at least with Beck. I don't know if they like baited him into this stuff, but man, whatever they showed him some things that turned bad on him really quick on a few of those picks, dude. It's either Carson Beck is the worst decision maker in the whole wide world, or Florida showed him some things that kind of screwed him up, or maybe it's a little bit of both, or maybe the fact that Florida can do that to him is evidence that he's not good, right? But there's some kind of truth in there that this defense is, even if, look, the Texas offense, it's like, it shouldn't have to do much to be able to put up more points than whatever version of this Florida offense puts up. But to me, I didn't look at them and say that, dude, I think they might have beat Georgia if Lagway didn't get hurt.
That's I was, yeah. I think a lot of people asked that same question this morning.
So I think that the offense is going to need to. They're going to need to have one of these games where they're going to have to go out and go toe to toe with a good defense. I don't think that the defense is going to have to go toe to toe with a good offense. If you have a completely, I think it would be terrible to put Lagway out there. And that's not just because I think Texas would have a much better chance to win if Lagway was out there. I think it's just a bad thing for Napier to do. And then just the other thing you mentioned, Cody, just how big they are, dude. They are long and they're big. And Sark said at his press conference today, he said, once you guys get down there on the field for the pregame in this, you're going to see that this team, as far as just the way that they look, getting off the bus, as far as on the defensive side, they're probably the best looking team that we've seen. They're all giant. They're all long. They're all monsters. And what I did notice was how many batted passes that they batted down on Beck. It was 5 batted passes from guys that either played edge or interior defensive line in this one game alone. So a lot of times they weren't getting to the quarterback. I didn't see a whole ton of pressures and sacks and stuff like that. They did get some, but it wasn't a blitzkrieg. But they do, man. If they're not getting to the quarterback, these guys get their hands up, and like they're tall and they're long. And Carson Beck's not exactly short. You know what I mean? And so if they're getting 5 batted passes at the line, that's like what we need to understand is that is actually that's a key feature of what they're trying to do defensively. That's something that they're being taught to do. And so Texas needs to be on the lookout for it. Money B is saying that the Florida D-line plays with bad leverage. I can totally agree with that. Dude, I don't think that they're very good against the run. As far now, I think that their linebackers are, though. So, 6 of 1, half, it's just sixes. Right? I think that the linebackers are. I think that as far as a run-stopping unit, they're fine. But I agree. I think that they're leverage, especially number 21. Man, that guy just can't move. You guys are going to see.
What'd you think of is it 44? Is that Pfeiffer's number? Pyburn, did you notice him at all?
Is he the white guy?
He's the white guy that he'll play
yeah. I like him too.
He's a menace.
I think these guys can these guys can fill these guys can occupy rush lanes and fill gaps. They can do it. I don't see much from the defensive line. I think that 94 and 34 are good edge rush guys. I would not be surprised if they're they probably both one of those guys probably leads the team in sacks. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I'm sure that's true. Maybe we should look that up. I'm going off here just without knowing it all. But
Florida's sack leader is currently Tyreek Sapp with 4.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's only 4, but it's good. Yeah. So he does. It's and how many does 34 have?
3. That's number 1 and number 2 in the team.
Yep. So
nobody else has more than that. All right. Nobody has more than. They're the only 2 guys with more than 2.
So that's my take on it. I think that the Florida defense is good, man. I think that Texas is going to have to. It's like Sark said today about just the team getting back its mojo. The offense getting back its mojo. What did you think about that, Cody? About how he's saying it's because they kept pestering him about it. Like Kirk Bowles is like, have they lost confidence? What is it? Sark's like, man, it's not so much about losing confidence. It's just like if you're a big home run hitter, like a big slugger in baseball, or you're a 3-point shooter in basketball, he's like, it's just sometimes you just got to see that one go over the fence or that one fall into the basket or fall into the hoop. And once you do that, once you see it again, it isn't. Does that make sense to you? I thought I'm not explaining it as well as Sark did, because when he said, I'm like, oh man, that kind of makes sense.
No, he said perfectly. It's like a 3-point shooter or a home run hitter. If you go on a dry spout, you just need to see one go in, and then you remember your flow. It's not the yips. It's more so just like you can't fire 100% of the time. Like Steph Curry gets cold at times, but Steph Curry, as soon as he clicks one, he's all the way back in. And that's what the offense is kind of going through right now. Is the offense was running so pure up into that Georgia game and got punched in the mouth. And then it was like, all right, we got to find our footing. And Vandy wasn't exactly the right game to find your footing in. So they get a bye and a couple opportunities here. Florida's a tougher defense. And then you get Arkansas, who just gave up 63 to Ole Miss. And there's opportunities here, especially if Lagway doesn't play. I think both these games are like vintage call back to the first part of the season where you can really blow the doors open early if you get on it. And
they need to, man. They need a slump buster, dude.
Yeah.
It's like me and my buddies used to say in college, man. Sometimes you just need to get off the schneid, dude. You need a slump buster every now and then. Justin Liebeck saying, Alex, did you ever get a pic of my Axis buck? No. Where did you send it, Justin Lee? I've been dying to put up pics of Axis bucks.
Did you get any emails over the weekend?
What?
Did you get any emails over the weekend?
Yeah, no, I just checked. No emails over the weekend from anybody. fwfemails@gmail.com. Well, like, I'm trying to solicit emails to it, man. We want to show these pictures. We want to be able to, because we keep talking about it, creeping up over 400 people watching right now between X and YouTube. But it's like, if you look at our shows, man, they've been getting like 10,000 views and stuff. And what it shows is that most of our viewers are coming like tomorrow morning, or like I guess today for you guys on Tuesday. But we want to be able to interact with y'all like we interact with the chat. So please email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. Any thoughts, any pictures of like deer, Axis bucks, stuff like that. Let me look and see, because he says he sent it to FWF emails. Maybe it went to spam or something. Let me see. I don't check the spam folder. Oh gosh. Hold on, wait. That's the wrong one. Spam. Nothing in the spam. Just send it again, Justin Liebeck. I'd like, just send it, man. I definitely want to see it, and we'll show it off here. But yeah, if you guys have questions, comments, there's anything you want us to talk about on the show, let us know. fwfemails@gmail.com. We definitely appreciate you. Scott in Texas placed his Texas Beef Traders Football with Friends jerky order. You're gonna love it, Scott in Texas. You are gonna just love it. It's delicious. Thank you so much. Dude, honestly, thanks so much to. I mean, we have another great sponsor, which is of course Poncho Outdoors. Cody and I made a new Poncho Outdoors order this week. We both got some of these new flannel shirts for the winter. We're gonna try those things out, see if they're anything near as good as the Western shirts. I got an email about these new ones. They said in the advertisement they're so comfortable that you're gonna want to wear them every day, and you can wear them every day because if they get worn out or anything happens to them, we're gonna take care of you. It's got a lifetime warranty. If you wear out you wear it every day, and like something happens weird with the sleeve or something like that, you just send it back. They'll send you a new one. They'll fix it, whatever they got to do. That's how they do it. That's like, I mean, they're just such excellent quality products at Poncho Outdoors. We can't thank them enough for being such great sponsors. And they have all the Texas branded stuff too, like all the burnt orange stuff. The, what is it? I forgot what's called, like the 1890, whatever it was, 1882. Is that the year Texas was found? 1883, maybe.
You're the one that lives there and represents.
I do not live in Austin, Texas. I'll tell you, please. Spicewood. But I did attend the university. May or may not have tattoos regarding Austin, the university on my body, etc. But yeah, I don't wear too much burnt orange gear. I've told the story before. It's just because when I first signed on with Rivals, I had to sign something saying that I wouldn't be seen in public wearing Texas Longhorns gear or whatever, because Rivals, they thought that was a conflict of interest and all this stuff. Since then, they've completely come off that and they don't care at all. So anyway, yeah, Poncho Outdoors, man, please make sure and check them out. They're just the best shirts in the world. Let's see. Anything else from the press conference that really stood out to you? Oh, we didn't even talk about Sadir Mitchell getting name dropped twice, unsolicited. I mean, can you believe it? We finally made it. We're here, Cody. We're here. And I think it probably has to do a little bit with him maybe getting some extra work this week because Vernon Broughton, we all know, got the targeting second half of the last game. We're not going to see him in the first half of this game. So one of the questions he was asked was about defensive line. The two times that he brought up Sadir Mitchell in this press conference were whenever he was talking about Thomas Jones from the Austin American Statesman asked him about like, well, is this bye week? You always say on these bye weeks, it's for it's always good for getting the younger guys some like extra run and stuff like this. And he said, were there any of these guys that you said that was the case with, who like maybe had some extra time this week that are looking good or whatever? And he said, Kobe Black continues to make strides, and Kobe Black looked awesome versus Vanderbilt, by the way. I mean, we've talked about that, but he's a baller. He said Jarrett Gibson showed us a lot last week. He said Jordan Johnson-Rebel and Xavier Filsamy are both on the come. And he said, I'll say this, Sadir Mitchell's had the best 2 weeks of work ever since he's gotten here. These last 2 weeks have been the best 2 weeks of work that he's had since he's gotten here. So that's an unsolicited name check for Sadir Mitchell. Later on, he was asked about Danny Davis asked about Vernon Broughton missing the first half due to targeting. And so, of course, Sark said, well, it's a great opportunity for Jermaine Lolay, right? Because as we've talked about here and we've gone over, Jermaine Lolay is this team's number 3 tackle. He just is. And he's playing better. He's getting more run stuffs. But it's just, he's playing more than anybody else besides Collins and Broughton, and he's the first one in. And so expect him to start, right? Expect him to start. He'll be 3 technique. Collins will be nose, and that will be the starting group out there. You can write that in Sharpie. But he did say it's a great opportunity for Jermaine Lolay. He said, Bill Norton's been playing well for us. Alex January. We're going to need to see more out of Savea. And Sadir Mitchell, like I said, he's had the best 2 weeks since he's been here. So for one, we could talk about it. And I see we have a super chat. We need to just get this. For one, Savea, he's dusted. He just doesn't play. Like he's talking about all these guys, the things we've seen it good. Like Savea, we need to see more out of him. And then Sadir has had this great week of practice. So I'm going to get to the super chat. Then I'm going to ask you my Sadir Mitchell question. Jose Rodriguez, thank you, brother. Super chat. Alex, who's the best RB on our active roster? I say it's Jaden Blue. I don't know what you say, Cody.
I would say it's Jaden Blue in real life. On College Football 25, it's definitely Jarek Gibson.
Is that true?
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah. Jaden Blue just needs to get back to what Jaden Blue was to start this season, and everybody's going to remember that we were talking about him like a possible long shot Heisman candidate and stuff. Sark talks about this offense getting their mojo back. I think, of course, that starts with Quinn, right? Quinn needs to get his mojo back. I would argue that the second most important guy to get his mojo back is Jaden Blue. Because whenever that guy's got his mojo, man, he's a pretty sick player. And I've always been a big Trey Wisner fan. I'm not saying I don't think he shouldn't play, but I liked the way that the offense was operating better whenever Blue was a 1A and Wisner was a 1B. Whether that's like reductive, whether it's
redundant.
No, it's not right. It's just like whether or not I have those thoughts simply because of the outcomes of games and the way things played out whenever the situations had flipped. I don't know. Right. I think that's reductive reasoning.
I don't know. I'm a communications major, but I don't know. Reductive reasoning.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm not sure if my reasoning is due to the fact that It's just that there's bias to it because
Process that attempts to find a set of causes or premises for a given set of facts.
Yeah. So I don't know whether there's a flaw in my reductive reasoning there. And the flaw in my reductive reasoning there would be maybe bias due to the fact that the games Texas has played badly in, those have been the games where they have made a big emphasis to feature Trey Wisener much more than Jaden Blue.
Reductive reasoning is a specific way in which a straw man arguments are utilized when attacking an opponent's position.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Straw man. Okay.
That's your new nickname, straw man and trash man.
You can't call me straw man. You can call me the steel man. Justin Levac says, Alex, I just resent them. Okay, let me check and see if you resent them. Oh, dude. Oh yeah. Oh, Justin. Yes. Okay. Listen, I've got these. We've shown the one of your daughter in the bass, but that's the only one that's worth anything. The others are like screenshots from your iPhone. If I put them up on the screen, you can't see them. Can you send me ones that look like they're the same size as the picture that you sent of your daughter with the bass? Because we've already shown that one. People love that, but we certainly do appreciate that. See if you can like resize it, or if you're bad with the tech or you're a super old guy, just have your wife do it for you, man. but we love you, Justin Lebeck. We certainly do appreciate it. Money B is asking, what do you think's going on with Blue? Injury, mental? I don't think it's injury. I don't think it's injury or I don't think that. I think probably it was a little bit mental at first with the fumbles, and then after that, it's like. I think that Wisener kind of showed enough to where the coaching staff was sort of happy with what he was doing, and then games get sideways and they stick with what they've done during the week. And I think that this week was a good reset, man. I think that this would be a good time to. It needs to be just more of a little bit more of a committee. You can't have one of these games where Jaden Blue gets 9 targets and no carries, and your whole running game is just going through Trey Wisener. It doesn't make sense. It just. I think that this week is a good reset for that, man. You get to the bye week, you're like, all right, man, we kind of wash our hands of these fumbles. You guys are the Jerky Boys now. Do you remember the Jerky Boys? Call it, yeah, it's Sol Rosenboy calling.
Too young.
Yeah, the Jerky Boys would make prank calls, man. There's my main inspiration for the prank calls that I would make on the Sirius XM radio shows. I'd buy these CDs of the Jerky Boys, man. They're really funny.
Why does nobody? I suppose maybe they've tried it.
Let's see. Jose Rodriguez has a great question here. My friend gave me some venison sausage this weekend, about a year old in the freezer. Do you think it's still good? Not a hunting guy myself. I would say it depends. Is it vac sealed? If it's vac sealed and it's a year and it's sausage, you're fine. I think. My
most cases it's fine unless it's bare.
Yeah, well, I would I think 1 year if it's wrapped in some of these places, some of these processors will just wrap it just in butcher paper and tape.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's just wrapped in paper, it's probably a little.
Well, I mean, I think a year is still kind of fine for that, but if it's vac sealed, you can eat sausage for like I wouldn't throw it out till 2 years. I mean, I still eat. This is vac. Yeah, you're totally fine. Not that I'm giving health advice, but because if you do eat it in something weird, I don't want to be blamed. But I'll eat my sausage. Mine's gone usually by then, right? But there's been times when I've eaten stuff like 18 months and stuff. And if it's packaged properly, it's just fine. I think it probably go to 2 years. Feels like it's been 2 years, man. That's another thing this week. We'll have a little bit of a different schedule, guys. I'll be missing the show on Wednesday and Thursday because I'm going out hunting. I hope to come back with some axis deer myself or whitetail. Whitetail season's open, so I won't be limited to the one species. It looks like it's going to rain a little bit. But Cody, do you know what you're doing for those shows yet?
I think Thursday I'm going to have. I gotta talk to our guy Anand with Ohio State. We did a show before this season on Ohio State. I want to talk.
People love Anand. That's going to be a fun one.
I want to talk to him about this Ohio State Penn State thing. Michigan's approaching, and Ohio State's kind of in a similar spot as Texas with these college football rankings coming out tomorrow night. And I think we'll have a good discussion because obviously Texas has lost to Georgia and they've lost to Oregon, who presumed to be the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the college football playoff. I want to kind of get a feel for They got some offensive line problems. They kind of got a little bit of a quarterback question right now, even though they won that game this weekend. I want to get a check-in with Ohio State before this big.
You're not gonna get any smack talk from Anand about Will Howard, dude.
Yeah, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hold the Kyle McCord stones to him.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna hold the Kyle McCord, the quarterback from last year. I'm gonna hold those stones to him, and I'm gonna ask him if this is really that much better. Is this really that much better than Kyle McCord?
Well, he's gonna say, why does that even matter? Like, that's a total non sequitur. Why does it? He's gonna tell you, why does it matter?
What do you mean? Why does it matter? The kid is he's playing. I don't think,
is there somebody that you put in? I mean, would you put somebody in over him at this point in the season?
Over I mean, dude, Troy Smith, the legendary quarterback from Ohio State, was calling for Julian Sayin at halftime of that game.
Oh, so there is a legit deal that people are saying.
Yeah, Troy, and that's what I'm at. Troy Smith brought it up. What's the deal? Like,
fanboy on him that goes and takes photos with his guy, with selfies with his guy, Will Howard at practice. You kidding me, dude? He's gonna say no, dude. But then the minute the backup comes in and goes ape, he's gonna just put up the selfie with him. Say, he's been my ride or die since day one. That's what Anand's gonna do. Yeah. All right, dude. We got Monday Night Football tonight. We got Cody and I got to get our prize picks in and stuff. And so, thanks so much to everybody for being here. Thanks so much to Specs, man. I always remember that, you know, Specs is just such a great partner here on Orange Bloods Live. Let's make sure to hear from him.
Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Now, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. You can follow Cody on X @Cody Carpentier. You can follow me @Alex Dunlap NFL. Please remember to like the show, subscribe to the channel. We don't pound you with that stuff and those requests all day because we want to get in. We want to talk football. We want to get out, man. We love hanging out with you. We love talking football. We're here every single weeknight, 6 to 7 p.m. Central. The show keeps growing, and that's because of you guys who continue to come back and watch. So thank you for continuing to come back and watch. If you're watching this on Tuesday, have a great Tuesday. A lot going on. So try and keep cool, and just know that we'll be back, man. We'll be back later tonight or tomorrow, depending on when it is you listen. So go out, do something big tonight or today, depending on when you listen. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.